Hello everyone, I am Dr. Naina Singh, HOD Humanities, Assistant Professor Sociology from the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. Today I am going to introduce with the topic marriage, its etymology, types, characteristics as per Indian society. So let's begin. So as per the etymology, the word marriage is derived from Middle English marriage, which first appeared in 1250 to 1300 CE. This in turn is derived from the Old French term marier, which means to marry, and ultimately Latin meriter, meaning to provide with a husband or wife, and maritare, meaning to get married. The adjective maritism, meaning matrimonial or nuptial, could be the masculine form as a noun for husband and in feminine form as wife. The related word matrimony derives from the Old French word matrimony, which appears around 1300 CE and ultimately derives from Latin matrimonium, which combines two concepts, mater meaning mother and the suffix monium signifying some kind of action, state or at times condition. Now let's talk about the evolution of the institution of marriage. Human society was a nomadic society earlier. Before civilization, there was possibly a herd instinct type of marital relationship. But with time, the nomadic human society started evolving into an agricultural society. Now, at this time, it was important to know the paternity of the children. So, the sexual relationship remained unregulated. Only the maternity was possible to know, but the paternity left unregulated. The main aim of this video is to provide the knowledge about the evolution of institution of marriage in our Indian society. It is possible to define the paternity of sex relationship can be converted into exclusive union of men and women. Therefore, we can say that the man's search to know the paternity of children becomes the seed of the institution of marriage. At some stage of human development, the need arises to know regarding the human belongings and ownership of material belongings as a natural result of human, and the male should know about their children or the identity of their children, that whose child, whose mother and who is the father. This seems to be impossible if the contiguity goes on as a rule. Let's talk about the brief history of marriage. According to sociologists, families are the social institutions that perform important functions for their family members and societies in turn. They produce, they nurture, they nourish, they socialize children, care for weak and elderly in the family, becomes the working force for the economy and meet the emotional and other kind of needs of the family members. As Max Weber states, stable sexual relationships allowed and legitimized by the larger kin group and used to determine rules about the property and the rights of the children in the family. Let's see the transformations in the families and marriages hereafter. Gradually, the discovery of agriculture reshaped the families and the marriage union. For example, the right to own a piece of land and pass it on to the legal heirs or to the coming generations showed male domination, and eventually it became more important. So hereafter, marriage became the center of family life and the formal, legal, contractual relationship became the basis between the men and women relationship. So the term marriage is also known as matrimony, as I uttered earlier, or you can even call it a wedlock, is a culturally and often legally recognized union between people called spouses. It establishes rights and obligation between husband and wife or men and women, depending upon the forms of marriage, as well as between their children and between them and their in-laws. So therefore, marriage is considered as cultural, universal, but the definition of marriage varies from society to society, culture to culture, religion to religion, and over time. Typically, it is an institution in which interpersonal relationships, usually sexual relationships, are acknowledged by the society and sanctioned. In some cultures, marriage is recommended or considered to be compulsory before pursuing any sexual activity or going ahead with the marriage life. A marriage ceremony is known as wedding. Let's see what are the views of various sociologists as per their definitions. According to Robert Louis, he describes marriage as relatively permanent bond between permissible mates. As per Hobble, the complexes of social norms that define and control the relationship of a mated pair to each other, their kinsmen and their offsprings and their society at large. As per Horton and Hunt, he explained marriage is the approved social pattern whereby two or more persons establish a family. Westermarck, in his book called History of Human Marriage, defines marriage as more or less durable connections between male and female lasting beyond the mere act of propagation till after the birth of the offspring. As per Malinowski, marriage is the contract for the production and maintenance of children. So let's begin with types of marriages. Types of marriages on the basis of number of mates. So as per the division of mates, it is further divided into monogamy, polygamy, endogamy or group marriage system. Polygamy is further divided into polyandry and polygyny. Polyandry, poly means many and andry means male. So further it is divided into fraternal and non-fraternal polyandry. When you talk about poly, again it means many and gyny means female. Polygyny is further divided into sororal and non-sororal polygyny. Now let's see the type of marriage on the basis of mate selection or on the basis of rules of mate selection. So marriage here is subdivided into endogamous marriage and exogamous marriage. Endogamous marriage means marriage within the group, that could be tribal, caste, subcaste or varna endogamy. Further talking about the exogamous marriage, that means it is outside the gotra, parvar, sapind or it talks about the village exogamy. So let's see what is polygamy. It is a type of marriage where we talk about the plurality of partners. It allows a man to marry more than one woman or a woman to marry more than one man at a time. Polygamy is of three types and such are polygyny, polyandry, endogamy or group marriage. Polygyny. Poly means many and gyny means female. So polygyny is a type of marriage in which a man marries more than one wife at a time. In this type of marriage, each wife has a separate household and the husband visits them in turn. It was the preferred form of marriage in the ancient Indian society, but now it was not in practice among majority of population, as monogamy is the universal accepted form of marriage. But it is now found among few of the tribals such as Naga, Gond or Baga tribe. Let's see what is polyandry. Polyandry is a very rare type of marriage in the present or contemporary times. In this type of marriage, a woman marries several men at a time. As per K.M. Kapadia, polyandry is the form of union in which a woman has more than one husband at a time or on which brothers shares a common wife or wives among them. At present, this particular type of polyandry is found among the Toda tribe, Khasi and Nayars. Polyandry is further divided into fraternal polyandry and non-fraternal polyandry. So, the other form of marriage is monogamy. Monogamy is an ideal, widespread and rational type of marriage in the contemporary times. It is found in all civilized society and we can say it is the universally accepted form of marriage. Mono means one and gamy means marriage. So, monogamy refers to a form of marriage, one man with one woman at a time. This type of marriage is normally unbreakable in nature and it continues till death. Today, the principle of monogamy is one husband and one wife is practiced and emphasized throughout the world. Monogamy is of two types, serial monogamy and non-serial monogamy. Now, let's concentrate on some of the characteristics of marriage. Marriage, as we all know, is the universal social institution. It is found in almost all societies and all stages of development because it is a bond which continues to help or form various societies or groups as a whole. Marriage is a permanent bond between husband and wife and it is designed to fulfill the social, physiological, biological and religious aims at multiple times. Marriage is a specific relationship between two individuals of opposite sex and based on mutual rights and obligations. Marriage requires a legal social approval. This relationship between men and women should be legitimized. Further characteristics of marriage are: marriage is the base to establish a legal family, which provides facilities for procreation, nurturing and upbringing of the children. Marriage creates mutual bond or obligations between husband and wife. The couple fulfill the mutual obligation on the basis of caste, creed, custom, culture, tradition or rules of a particular society. Marriage is always also associated with some civil and religious ceremonies. This social and religious ceremony or sacrament provides validity to marriage. Though modern marriages are performed in courts, still it requires a certain religious, sacred or customary practices. Marriage regulates sexual relationship according to the permissible prescribed customs, laws and traditions. Marriage has certain symbols like ring, Mangal Sutra, vermilion or you can call it sindoor, and special signs what a woman carries or woman adheres when she is a married woman. I hope this presentation gave you an idea about the evolution, types and characteristics of marriage. Thank you.